Heavy pressure continued to mount on government to halt the fast depleting natural resources of the country, but the Galamsey operators are urging government to treat them with kids' gloves.
No work for the whole Ghana.
The truth of the matter is that Galamsey have to end because we are people who are doing illegal mining.
The Media Coalition Against Galamsey is the latest voice to join in seeking a more drastic measure to deal with the menace of illegal mining.
Hello, Minister, I disagree with you. I think that in the times that we find ourselves in, where water is becoming a major problem, I think you need to consider the issue of a moratorium on alluvial mining.
Well, a 3-week ultimatum is currently under force to get all illegal miners to quit their activities or face the rigors of the law.
Moratorium on all small-scale licenses. And it's surprising to know that I have not signed any single small-scale license due October.
The fight against illegal mining over the years has proven to be a very tough one. So how easy will it be this time round? What striking strategies will work in this critical mission? We'll be delving deep into the matter and seek answers to all these questions. This is today's big story. My name is Acylation. A coalition comprising media organizations and concerned bodies have come together to fiercely fight the menace to see an end to the large-scale destruction of the country's natural resources. We can listen to a member of the steering committee, Kenneth Ashigbe, on this.
Hello, Minister, I disagree with you. I think that in the times that we find ourselves in, where water is becoming a major problem, I think you need to consider the issue of a moratorium on alluvial mining. Yes. Be able to stop it and be able to stem it. Currently, you can't control it. As they say, you know what I mean? That's what is happening. So it's difficult if you don't, and I think it's one of the things I personally would call on, that a moratorium, moving beyond just the new ones, to say that let's halt for a while. Maybe it might be a year. Let's make sure we put plans in place, train our people well, put the systems in place to check it. But currently, as we sit, it won't happen. It would really be very difficult to separate them. And even some of our large-scale miners, and let's not lie to ourselves, some of them are also guilty. Definitely, they are more responsible. But let's look at El Salvador. El Salvador just banned, mining. So sometimes we need to really do the cost-benefit analysis to see whether this thing is actually benefiting us, especially when you consider the Ghanaian situation. Look at Johannesburg and Obuasi. Look at Johannesburg and Obuasi. These are the same. Both of them have looked at gold, and one of them have been able to use that to transform themselves. And we are sitting here. Everywhere we mine, there is poverty. How many Ghanaian billionaires have we made out of gold? How many? None. So I think, Mr. Minister, I know it might be a difficult one. It might not be a decision you can take on the spur of the moment, but I don't think you should consider it as one of the things that you won't consider. It should also be on the cards. Let's analyze it and see what will happen.
Well, let's hear from the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Peter Amewu, who insists the 3-week ultimatum will help in the cause to save the rest of the country's resources.
The people who are currently going around destroying the environment, I keep on saying, are killers. They are total killers. It's not different from armed robbery. Metal contents of water bodies have risen. Mercury content have risen, cyanides have increased. The health concerns of the individual. And this is a society in which we live in. the media fraternity. We have no better time than today and now to make sure that we go in after those guys. Yes, I agree with you perfectly. There are the people so-called big shots behind them. But who can be bigger than the media? If there are politicians behind them, can they be bigger than the media? If there are chiefs behind them, can they be bigger than the media? My simple answer to that question is no. I was in Obuasi about 3 weeks ago when the chief told me, Mr. Minister, these issues of Galamsey is your responsibility. I am a chief. I got no gun. I have nothing to fight it. You have to fight it. We are not concerned. We have no responsibility in giving lands out. So it means that this issue of illicit mining is a national issue, receiving global attention from every single person. There are few hands working there, 70,000, 80,000, maximum 1 million, compared to a population of 28, 27 million. We cannot allow this to continue. The detail is that if you go down to the penalty, the operational elements, most of them are foreigners. Mali, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Senegal, name them. Our own citizens are not involved. The source of funding has been said by one of the speakers here. It's very critical. Where are they giving the money? Where are they getting the money from? Small-scale mining is the preserve of Ghanaians. And this has been going on since the early 80s and 90s. We have not seen the extent of applications of earth-moving equipment that we are seeing today. 60% of the earth-moving equipment that are brought to Ghana do not find themselves working on the road. They are out there deep in the forest, cutting down the trees, digging down the water bodies. This cannot continue. And what we have done recently in the ministry, since I assumed office, is I put moratorium on all small-scale licenses. And it's surprising to know that I have not signed any single small-scale license since I assumed office. This is an attempt to sanitize the system.
Well, let's do some analysis now. Samuel Atta-Mensah is Vice President of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. He joins us via phone. Good evening to you. Thanks for your time on today's big story.
Hi, good evening.
How do you intend to champion this cause of putting massive pressure on government to end this menace? I mean, it looks like a very tough assignment, though.
Well, I think, thank you for giving us the opportunity. Now, this coalition of media concerns is made up of the Daily Graphic, Ghanaian Times, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Ghana Journalists Association. We also have GIBA, and supported by the Ministry of Information. Now, what do we have as media? What we have is our various platforms and our voices. We do not implement government policy, but we can raise alarm and cause there to be an awareness. And for us, we think that with a concerted approach, we can raise enough awareness to bring that sense of urgency for government to take action on this issue that has bedeviled our country. And so this is what we seek to achieve with this coalition.
Now, government feels that this issue should be treated with a human face, and you disagree with that. How are you going to manage this?
Well, we also believe that it should be tempered with human faces. In fact, that is even the better reason why we are at it this time. Because people are dying due to how we have managed this Galamsey issue. People are dying from drinking poisoned water, polluted water, and that is the human bit that we are talking about. If you are looking at the fact that people think, oh, it's giving people employment, we believe that some people who are into armed robbery also think that they are employed through armed robbery, but it's illegal. It kills the very spirit of society. And so to say that if you stop Galamsey, people are not going to get employed, it's like saying that if you stop armed robbery, people are not going to get employed. The thing is that we decided to allow small-scale mining, but we have not been able to control it. So all we are asking is for the government to lead the charge take a decision to halt it so that we as a country will rethink and look at different approaches to solving the problem. Because if we continue the way we are going for the next decade, it's going to be a very difficult situation for us as a country.
Definitely so. But on the individual level, though, what role is a body like GIBA supposed to play in this Galamsey fight? Well,
GIBA is supposed to put together a program for the various members of the association for them to champion the cause of ending this Galamsey. So we again, as an industry association, our aim is to be able to push or compel our membership to be able to address these issues using their platform. Because as you can see, there are some media outlets that have been so active and involved in this campaign. There are some that don't even know what time it is. But GIBA is using the association to now implore all members of the association to take part and raise the awareness, and thereby bringing some form of pressure on government to act, and act now.
Mr. Mensah, have you hold and listened to some miners, illegal miners, who also are on their bending knees asking government to think about their welfare and stop this campaign against Galamsey? Let's listen to them and continue with this conversation.
We like the government to legalize ourselves, because without Galamsey, it's too hard for us.
Right. Really?
Really. That's why we like
But we have like ATK mining doing the legal way, doing the legal mining. Why don't you support that call instead?
we need it. We like it because we legalize for us with the ATK, because of our manager, our CEO, always declare collectively. We support himself to do Galamsey.
Well, what do you make of government's call to end Galamsey? Now government is waging a war against Galamsey, illegal mining. What do you make of that war?
Actually, the Galamsey work, okay, just say that work can feel no, it cannot stop.
Why? Why do you say Galamsey cannot end?
Because no Galamsey, no work for this area, no work for the whole Ghana.
The truth of the matter is that Galamsey have to end, because we have people who are doing illegal mining. You see, they have to regularize the thing. Then those who have their papers will do correct job. After they have established, they will reclaim the land and take the land. But now, people are just doing it because they want to do it because of the money. But one, we need the land. People who excavate, they will not reclaim them. The holes will be there. People are dying. So as for that one, for me, I am in support. And one thing I want the government to pursue is the Chamfan. Those people who are in the Bremu River. As for that one, you have to eliminate all of them. As for that one, you have to make sure that those people, because they are spoiling the water.
But you are here.
So those were some illegal miners in the eastern region where the situation is rife. But government
Can you just recap what they said, because I didn't hear a thing.
All right. So what they're saying is that government should think about their welfare, because that's the way their means of living, and they voted for the president and the new government to come into power, and so they have to also think about their welfare and their well-being.
But that goes without saying that government would have to think about their welfare. But you can't tell me that the welfare of the rural folk only depends on Galamsey. I have lived my life in the eastern region before. And I saw Galamsey in its very nascent form when I was a kid in Kede in Pramkese. And I'm saying that it's not a new thing, but it's just gotten out of hand. And so we need to find ways to control it. I mean, we know that if we leave it the way it is, in another 10 years, it's going to be even more chaotic. So yes, I agree that government should think about ways to help those who are involved in it, but it does not stop us from taking a second look and reviewing the activities in order for us to control it. That's all we are saying.
Mr. Mensah, let's speak with Latif Idris, who was with these people in the Eastern region, who's in the studio right now. You've been to the Eastern region, you've spoken with these people. Are they not aware of the dangers they're causing? Why are they still engaged in this? Don't they know that at a point in time we may not have water to drink as a nation? Yeah,
exactly. The point I put to one of them, that your activity is gradually pushing us to a level that's come in the next 10, 20 years, we would have to be exporting water into the country, import water. But they care less about that. What they care about most is the immediate gain in Galamsey, immediate gain in small-scale illegal mining of gold. For some, that is the only livelihood they've known. If you end illegal mining today, if you end Galamsey today, most of them have no other means of making it. To them, Galamsey is the only way out. That's the reason why you hear some of them calling on governments to legalize the entire process, to make it. The thing is, it's legalized. It's legal for you to mine. There is a legal process. So we have mining companies who are playing by the book, but others and illegal miners plus legally registered mining companies are also not going by the book. That is why we are
beyond where they're supposed to
exactly.
mine.
If the regulation is that when you mine, you reclaim the land and make it viable for farming activities to take place. But it doesn't happen often.
Doesn't happen.
We have registered companies who mine and leave the pits open.
And also depletes the water bodies.
Exactly. That is what is causing death at the various mining sites in the Eastern region, particularly because that is where you have lots of mining companies undertaking their operations. But in all of this, we have some mining companies who are on the right path, who are doing
the right thing,
going by the rules, reclaiming lands after mining, and also, doing what is being regulated.
Let me have you hold, Latif, because I think the target should be on illegal miners, especially those who are not playing by the rules. Mr. Mensah, you heard him, especially these guys do not care a hoot about whether they're depleting our water bodies or whether they're killing somebody or what. All they care about is their livelihood. But we need to sustain this campaign anyway. How do we do that?
Well, let me take a step from where he ended. You see, he just said that there are mining companies that are doing the right thing. Now, what he has not said is that whereas they are doing the right thing, they do not have the capacity to stop others from doing the wrong thing.
Definitely so.
So right in the precincts of their own territories, they have people busily mining Galamsey and destroying the whole system. So this Galamsey thing is a very complex situation. It actually accounts for about 30% of our gold exports in this country. And it is actually engaging over 1 million people. So it's not such an easy issue. But look at where we are and look at the dangers that it is posing to our very being, our livelihood. If you look at the Pra River, look at the Ankobra River, look at the Densu, look at the Birim River, they are all gone. And so if we don't put a stop at some point to be able to regenerate the natural essence of these water bodies, then we are in trouble. And this is all we are talking about. As a country, we need to stop somewhere and rethink and see where we are taking the country to. If we don't do it now, then it's going to come a time where we would have to, as it's happening in other countries, drinking water will be more expensive than soda or even what we call minerals.
And we may even have to import water into our country.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Many
thanks to you, Samuel Atta-Mensah, for your time. We're extremely grateful for your time on today's big story. So, Lateef, you heard what he said. But, of course, government intends to unveil a long-term strategy to deal with the menace once and for all. The Minister for Information, Mustafa Hamid, is very optimistic this time it will work. Let's hear him.
All of us are determined and unanimous and agreed that this menace must be stamped out. As Minister for Information, I had no hesitation at all in putting my weight behind the coalition. And whatever it is that we ought to do as government to ensure that this campaign goes all the way to its logical conclusion, that it goes. Because it is not as if other governments or previous governments haven't tackled the matter, but we always do so on a piecemeal basis. When we go into the areas, we seize their equipment and then we get out. Then they go and buy new equipment and they go in there. I'm not sure that this is the way that this government intends to handle the matter. The ministers who are responsible for the security and so on, I'm sure, as Peter Amewu said, in the next few days or weeks, will unveil to the Ghanaian people a comprehensive plan that this time will go into the areas, stop the matter, and make sure that it is really stopped for good.
That was Minister for Information Mustafa Hamid, who is optimistic that this strategy government will be unveiling will definitely deal with this canker. But if you listen to the people in the Eastern region, you spoke with them, Lateef, and there's some who actually understand that, listen, we're depleting our water bodies, we're destroying our environment, and so we need to curb this illegal mining. Exactly. And those who do not do the right thing must be made to face the law.
The law, exactly. And this is coming from a miner.
A miner himself who understands the plight of his fellow miners, but still think that we should do the right thing.
We should do the right thing.
I think we should listen to him.
The challenge we have on the Chamfan is, one, they cause damage to the water body. Two, when after dredging we want to make a reclamation, we can't get the mainstream of the river. So that's the most important thing. And secondly, when the operation is on force, during the rainy season, the local areas, when they want to go to their farms, they don't get access to cross the river.
Why is that?
Because they have expanded the mainstream. So that at first the stream, they can even fell tree to the mainstream, then the farmers pass on the log. But because of the activities, they have, expand the river. Sometimes you go and you get not about 400 or 500 meters wideness. So this is the most important thing.
That is with the Chamfan operation.
With the Chamfan operation.
Let's look at the Galamsey proper. How about that?
When we are talking about the Galamsey proper, you see, for the mining in general, the Galamsey people, when they are doing the work, because they don't have licenses, they just go to the land, quickly do the mining, take the mineral, then leave the keys.
So nothing like reclamation?
Nothing like reclamation. But anyone who have licenses know that if you didn't make the reclamation, maybe the EPA, environmental people, and the Mineral Commission will cancel their licenses. So it is necessary for the government, now that the government is serious about the illegal ones, we the legal ones, we support the government to go ahead and regulate even the legal one.
Exactly, that was going to be my next question. How
Even
about
the legal one, they have to regulate it so that we can do proper mining. After mining, you do the reclamation, you plant your tree, and even the piece that you leave it, you can make it as a fish pond and the rest.
So do you support government's war against Galamsey? Do you support?
100% support. 100% I support. Because if the government didn't come in the nearby future, it would be in Ghana would be in trouble.
All right, joining me on the other phone line is Nana Jumo Sapon, who is an environmentalist and president for Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies. Nana, you're welcome on today's big story. The campaign is heightening and everybody seems to be on board, all in the bid to end this Galamsey canker. But the point is, haven't we seen this kind of seriousness attached to ending this menace before? I mean, what did it yield, especially when we have some so-called big men involved in this? The question remains, are you convinced that we can get it done this time? All right, I think we lost Nana on the line, but Lateef, finally, what exactly do the people want? Because if they know that they are depleting our water bodies, they are destroying our environment, and they still insist that government should treat them with human face, what exactly are they talking about? All right, I'm told Nana Jumo is on the line. Let's get back to him. He's an environmentalist, and he's the president for Friends of Rivers and Water Bodies. Good evening to you, Nana. The question I'm asking is that the campaign to end Galamsey is heightening, and everybody seems to be on board to end this canker. But the point is that we've seen this before. We've seen this seriousness attached to ending this menace before, but it didn't yield any positive results. So how are we convinced that this time we can get it right?
Thank you, Madam, and I want to say good evening to all your listeners, your precious listeners, and may the Lord bless them. I think this time around, the press is involved. That is the big difference. Because when the politician is doing something and we don't support it, he cannot do it. We in the NGO say the pressure of the people create the political will. So now that everybody is crying, I think this is the time to act or never. And then furthermore, the government comes out with an agenda. And in his agenda, he's saying that one district, one dam in certain parts of the country. And then one district, one industry. Then the food for planting to eat. All of these programs can never come on if they don't protect the water body. So it's a big challenge. All of us have to support, because now, no water, no germination. No water, no life.
Now,
so
government wants to unveil a strategy which it feels will address this once and for all. What will be your expectations of this strategy government is about to unveil?
The strategy is enforcement, because I don't see any difference. We have not enforced our laws. There are so many laws in the statute book which need to be enforced. Once we enforce it, I think we will get what we want. The strategy will be enforcement. If you don't, and even the suggestion from the government is that those people doing that illegal act is giving them 3 months. After 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, they should stop whatever they are doing, and they are going to.
I think we lost Nana on the line, but he made his point and he made it well. Many thanks to you, Nana, for your point. Lateef, many thanks for your time on today's Big Story. That's where we draw the curtains. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Have a good evening.